the hardest person to lead is ourselves. Your leadership ability will determine your level of effectiveness. So let me tell you about a lid that I've hit in my own life, and recently it's really come to bear. Okay, so I read this quote, and this is another one you can write down. I read this. It says, efficiency is a survival mindset. Being efficient is a survival mindset. Effectiveness is a success mindset. Efficiency is a survival mindset. Effectiveness is a survival mindset. I read that and I'm like, what? I'm a mechanical engineer by trade, right? Like, that's what I used to do, is mechanical engineering. I prided myself on efficiency for the majority of my life. Everything's got to be efficient, and efficiency served me. You can ask my beautiful bride, where is she? Back there in the back. Jacqueline, back there. Wait, everybody, she loves being put on the spotlight, right? Tell them, am I a budget Nazi? I'm a budget Nazi, right? Like, I love budgets. I'm such an efficient person, and it served me in a lot of ways. And then I read this, and it says efficiency is a survival mindset, and effectiveness is a success mindset. And I was struggling with it, so I get on the phone with my mentor, Mark Cole, who's the president of all of John Maxwell Companies, and I'm like, man, I read this, and I don't get it, because efficiency has served me in a lot of ways. And he goes, Ron, efficiency is not bad. Efficiency is a good thing, but never at the cost of effectiveness. Talk about hit me upside the head. How many times had I chose efficiency over effectiveness in the things that I've been doing? I'll give you one example. Some of you may be able to relate to this. So, how many of you have a nonstick pan in your house? Raise your hand. Nonstick pan? Anybody got nonstick pan? All right, some people got some nonstick pans. Okay, how many of you were brought up on how you treat those nonstick pans? How many? Do you know what should you not do to nonstick pans? What? I didn't hear you. Don't use metal on it, right? Well, Jacqueline and I got married, and we grew up in different homes. I love my wife. She's the most amazing. She believed in me. I would not be on this stage without her. I'm so grateful. And you're about to hear something that it took me 8 years to learn. Okay, so I hope it doesn't take you 8 years to learn this. So I would walk in, and she's cooking for our family, right? And I'd hear, I'd look, and I'd be like, no, baby, at first, right? No, baby, you can't do that. That's going to ruin the ointment, don't you know? And that went on for weeks. And then months. And instead of me being nice, it started to turn into this glare. Like, haven't I told you? Don't use this. And then it went on for years. Anybody relate? Okay. So I'm going through this. This took me 8 years. I know you're thinking, why am I here listening to Braun? Like, if it took you 8 years to learn this, right? 8 years. And as I went through all these mastermind groups, as I was studying, as I started taking myself on, I started thinking about my leadership ability and what my priorities were, what my vision was. I started thinking about efficiency over effectiveness. And when I started reflecting on those, I wrote down my priorities. Because if you lead your life with your priorities, it can make all the difference in the world. My priorities were God, then my wife. But every time that I came in and she was cooking, somehow my wife, and where was the pans on that priority list? Anybody know where your pans are on your priority list? Is it like, but for some reason, I had moved it. God, pans. Like, really? And when I realized this, I was walking in one day, and I hear, and I looked at her, but this time I looked at her with a different look. And remember, it's not what you say, but how you say it. So be careful. But I looked at her with a different look, and I looked at her, and I looked back up at her, and I looked at her with love. And I said, I love you so much more than I love those pants. I cannot believe I let those pants get in the way of our relationship for 8 years. That has now turned into an endearing term in our marriage, right? We were walking through Sam's one day, and they had this little aisle end cap that had all these nonstick pans, and they were $20. I'm like, $20? I let that get in the way of my marriage? Fill the basket up. Let's go, right? And look, it was just a change in a thought, right? That completely changed, and I started leading my life by my priorities. How many times do we let things that are way down here not have anything to do with the results that we desire in our life, the freedom that we desire in our life?